Alright, here's a couple of trig equations that we need to solve. Remember that when you're solving any equation, at the end you want to get theta is equal to something. And so with this one up here, I have to get rid of the 4, I have to get rid of the squared, and I have to get rid of the sine. So there'll be three things I need to do in order to get down to that point where I can say theta is equal to something. Alright, so first off, I'm going to divide both sides by 4. So I'll have sine squared theta is equal to 3/4. And then to get rid of the squared, I'm going to square root things. So I'll square root this side and square root this side. So I'll get sine theta is equal to a plus or minus root 3 over root 4. Now, root 3 I can't do anything with, but root 4 is equal to 2. Now root 3 over 2, hopefully you're recognizing that from that chart that we did, where we had sine, cos, and tan, and 30, 45, and 60. And it turns out that the sine of 60 degrees is root 3 over 2. So here then, theta is equal to 60 degrees. But whenever we solve for theta, like this 60 degrees is always a reference angle. And it can happen in 4 different quadrants. Because sine could be positive or negative, all 4 quadrants work. So that one, that one, that one, and that one. So 60 degrees here. So that angle would just be 60 degrees. And then this angle here is 60, but I always have to name it starting at the positive x-axis. So I've got to name the angle in red there. And that'll be 180 minus 60, or 120. And then this angle will be 180 plus 60, which is 240. And finally, this angle will be 360 minus 60, or 300 degrees. In the question, they wanted the answer in degrees, so I can leave it in degrees. If I needed to convert it, I could always use that conversion. This one would be pi over 3, this one would be 2 pi over 3, 4 pi over 3, and 5 pi over 3. Alright, so that's one question. Here's another. So solve finding all solutions. This time, they wanted in radians. Good. So I take a look at the equation, and I notice I have 2 terms. Here's a term, here's a term. Each of them have a tan x in them. So I'm going to factor out a tan x. And that'll leave me with 2 cos x plus root 3 equals 0. And then because I have 2 things multiplied together to give 0, one or the other has to be 0. So tan x is 0, or 2 cos x plus root 3 is equal to 0. On the first one, I can just do that on my calculator and figure out when tan is equal to 0. Tan would be equal to 0, just trying to think about that. Tan of an angle is y over x, right? So to get a 0, y's got to be 0. I can't have x to be 0 because that would be undefined. But wherever y is equal to 0. And on a quadrant, that happens here and there. So that would be 0 degrees and 180 degrees. They want it in pi, so that's 0 pi. I guess that's also 360 degrees, right? But up here it says it doesn't include 2 pi, so just 0 and 180, that's just pi. Okay, now let's go over to this one. I'm going to move the root 3 to the other side. So 2 cos x equals negative root 3. Divide both sides by 2, and I'll get negative root 3 over 2. This one I should recognize from that chart again. And cos of an angle is root 3 over 2 at 30 degrees. That's sine, cos. This one right here is root 3 over 2. So my angle, theta or x, is 30 degrees. But that is a reference angle. which can happen in 4 places, but cos is negative, so it must happen only in these 2 quadrants here. So in quadrant 2 and 3. So here's the 30-degree angle off x, here's another 30-degree angle off of x. And now I have to just name what those angles are. So this angle there is going to be 180 minus 30, or 150 degrees. And then this angle is going to be 180 plus 30, or 210 degrees. Again, they want it in radians, so I can rewrite that as radians. So this first one is 5 pi over 6, and the next one is 7 pi over 6. Alright, so my answers would be those two and those two. Hopefully that helps with those 2 questions.